everybody. A couple people are asking for me to do a room tour video, so I figured, you know what, it's about time I go ahead and show you guys kind of my setup and my office and kind of show you how I utilize my space here. So yeah, let's get right into it. All right, so starting off, we have the closet full of everything. This is basically the spot where I put all of my overflow peripherals, boxes from products, and that kind of stuff. I got an old Logitech keyboard up here. I have my box for my Focus Ambition down here, and I got my old IKEA pads here hanging out here as well. This is basically just like the massive overflow area. On top of that, I also have behind here, we have a lot of Pokemon cards. During the pandemic and COVID, me and Mrs. Melon got quite into collecting Pokemon cards. So I have a bunch of cards, some really good ones too, in these boxes. Maybe I'll go over that another time. And then also over here, I just have more boxes. There's some X-ray pads kind of peeking up there as well. That's pretty much what this is used for. Alrighty, and next up we have this kind of just bookshelf here, which kind of serves as an extra overflow area. So I just have a bunch of old product boxes up here. I have some old mice, including my G600. Fun fact, actually, this was the first gaming mouse I used when I started to play competitive FPS. I actually used to use this mouse, despite how heavy it was, in Splitgate back in the day. I actually really did like this mouse because this extra third click here was really nice for meleeing in that game. I actually really wish there was a lighter version of the G600, even like a lightweight version of this mouse with one button here, keep this third button, and just add like 2 buttons here would be so good. But that's okay. Well, maybe one day we'll see that happen. But this was a really nice mice. That's kind of why I keep it along. I also have my old SteelSeries Sensei 10. My belt is here for some reason, don't know why. And of course, we have the Girl Gear mouse. And then over here, just kind of a secondary extra shelf. This is where I put the products I'm currently reviewing. So if I have products I'm in queue working on, I kind of keep them all here. This is just some miscellaneous stuff from a little secret project I'm currently working on, but we'll talk about that a little later. Here I have my DSLR. This is an old Rebel T6. I've been meaning to update this guy to actually use it for recording videos and get a proper lens for it and stuff. I just haven't unfortunately gotten around to do it. And unfortunately, this version of the T6 does not have the flip out frame, nor does it have autofocus for video recording. So that's primarily why I use my phone more than anything for this one, but maybe one day I'll fix this guy up and get him used again. And then next up, we have all of my books. Now, as you can tell here, I have a lot. During COVID, I used to be quite the avid reader. Even before that, I used to read a lot. Unfortunately, nowadays, I really don't have a lot of time to read as much as I used to, which is quite unfortunate. So I've been definitely slowing down, but I am a really big fan of authors like Haruki Murakami, Jose Saramano, who did Blindness. This is a fantastic book. I highly recommend that. And just kind of other miscellaneous books. Maybe in the future, I'll do a book roundup video for everyone if anyone's interested in doing that. But yeah, just a lot of miscellaneous books here. And moving on to these shelves, this is just more product boxes here. I've been meaning to clean this up as well and put something else here. I just haven't had time to do it. So I just have old mousepad boxes, my Vaxi PA box, and a couple other boxes here. And then I also have a bunch of other mice boxes here. I used to have these little plastic stands. I'll see if I can find one actually. Yeah, here they are. I used to use these little plastic stands on this actual shelf here to kind of hold the mouse up, but unfortunately the way these work, these are primarily made for like playing cards, not necessarily mice. And some mice are a little weirdly weighted, so it makes it kind of difficult to utilize them, unfortunately, which is a little unfortunate, but that's okay. And then down here, if you guys haven't noticed already, I am quite a big fan of Metroid. I've been playing the Metroid games ever since I was a little kid, and I'm a big fan of the series. So I just have this little Figma figure I got imported from Japan a couple years ago. I've been meaning to get around to ordering these other ones because I've definitely been wanting to get the ones from the other series, because this one is from another M, which we don't talk about because that's not a real Metroid game. But regardless, it is a nice little thing to have laying around. Mrs. Melon was kind enough to purchase me this little Widowmaker statue, which is really nice of her, so shout out to her for that. And I have another old Nintendo branded gravity suit from Metroid Prime. This is a really old toy. Unfortunately, it is open, so it doesn't have a lot of retail value, but it is nice, kind of a cool little thing to have around. All right, and then next up, we have probably the best thing I have in my office aside from my PC. This is a air purifier. This is just a standard IKEA air purifier, but I use this to combat the constant bombardment of cat hair from my 3 cats. So this is really, really good for keeping dust and cat hair and that kind of stuff out of my desk, out of my PC and peripherals. This is a godsend. I have this thing on full blast pretty much all the time. If you do have pets and you struggle with dust, highly recommend picking one of these up because these are a lifesaver. All right, and next up we just have another fan here just to kind of keep myself cool during filming. I have 2 little boxes here which I can't talk too much about because this is a secret, but you'll see a video on this in a couple weeks, so I'm not going to talk about that right now. I have my lighting rig here. I do need to get a proper lighting rig at some point, but for right now this is going to do the trick. I also forgot to mention I do have sound foam kind of all around my office here. I have it here, and then I also have it up here at the top of my door. and on the back of my door. I definitely need to get more to kind of reduce the echo, but it does the trick for now. And I almost forgot to mention, I also have this kind of LED thing here that runs around the entire roof of my office here. You can run the whole thing off this little remote. I really don't change the colors, to be honest with you. I just kind of like it the way it is, but it's a nice little touch, add some ambiance for like thumbnails and that kind of stuff and some streams, but it's nice to have it. I just don't really use it that often. All right, and then next up we also have the chair. The chair is nothing really that fancy. It's just literally an IKEA chair. It's really old. I need to get a new one at some point, but that's okay. It is what it is. It's just a chair. And last but not least, we have my setup here. Now, this setup is definitely a bit of an older setup. This is my old build from a couple years ago. I've just been slowly upgrading it with new parts over time. Of course, we have the Metroid figurine holding on my GPU. The specs really aren't anything fancy. I have a Ryzen 2600 in here. I have a GTX 2060. I have a 750 watt power supply, 16 gigs of RAM overclocked at 3200 megahertz. I would love to do 34, but my board doesn't support it for whatever reason, but that's it. And I just have some generic fans in here. I definitely need to get some upgrades for this soon because she's starting to show her age a little bit, but she's been holding herself for about 5 years now, so she's holding there pretty good. Now, in terms of my microphone, I have a Blue Yeti here. I got this actually as a combo with this Logitech webcam, which uses my main face cam. There was like 120 Canadian dollars, which is a really good deal. So this is my new mic. I've been really enjoying this one. It's actually quite good. It's actually a really decent mic, actually, coming from my Snowball as well. It's a nice upgrade. And then for monitors, I have an old Samsung 60 hertz and I have an AOC 144 hertz. Definitely will be upgrading to a higher refresh rate in the future, especially as high polling rate mice are really dependent on high frame rates. This will definitely be getting upgraded in the future. For headphones, I just use like generic Apple EarPods. The reason why I use these is because I have really weird sized ears and these are very comfortable, so I do use these. I should probably get proper headphones at some point, but that's okay. Wireless charger, Guru, as always. AirPods, I do actually, because I'm so old, I do actually schedule all of my stuff on a paper schedule. So yeah, I'm old, but that's how I schedule my videos and stuff. I have my HyperX Alloy Origins Core keyboard here. IKEA mouse pad, Keychron M3 is my main daily drivers for work and editing. And then this is a really cool little thing here. This is a toggleable USB hub actually, which you can manually turn the power on and off for each input. So I use these when I'm testing different mics, like I have my Death Adder V3 plugged in here, and I have my wireless receiver for my M3. This is a really, really useful tool for testing different plugs. And seeing as my PC is kind of far away from where I keep my mouse, it's nice to have just a little bit of extra wiggle room there. And then back here, we just have this little shelf that I installed that just acts as kind of like a holder. So if I'm not using my M3, I just kind of pop it up here, or if I have other mice I'm testing, I can just kind of swap them in and out here. This is my hand cam. I don't have it hooked up currently because I've been recording some videos as of late. But basically what I do is if I'm streaming, this guy will go up here and I'll just kind of have him like this. And then if I'm recording like actual videos or reviews, I actually put my camera up here, kind of like this, and so you can get your view there. Again, once I kind of figure out the situation with my other camera over there, I will be fixing this to a proper camera, but that is for now. And Mrs. Melon bought me this goose a little while ago from Yisk. I haven't named him. I mean, I'll take name suggestions. I was gonna call him like Fred or something, but he just kind of keeps an eye on me while I'm doing my stuff here. So that is what it is. And as I mentioned before, of course, we have the Death Adder V3 here as well, which is my main currently while I'm testing some other products. And then the setup is pretty standard. I'm just running a modded version of Windows 10 called Revi OS, just to remove all the garbage Microsoft stuff in the OS itself. And that's pretty much it. It's a pretty bog standard system. But yeah, that is pretty much my setup tour for this year. If I make any upgrades to the computer and that kind of stuff, I'll definitely bring you guys along for sure so you can see what I'm doing with the product. But that is my setup and that is my office as of 2023. But yeah, again, if you guys have any questions about anything in here, be sure to let me know. Maybe I'll make a second channel and do some book reviews in the near future. It'd be kind of fun to reread and talk about some of these books, but we'll see what happens. Anyways, I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you very much as always, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.